Hello everybody, and welcome back to the GMP Lounge for our newest video. So today we're going to cover margaritas, which were specifically requested. Thanks for the requests, keep them coming. So margarita is it's a simple drink. It's somewhat easy to make, and unlike some of the other cocktails, it doesn't have real specific exact measurements. You can be off and you can do it to taste, and it's still a margarita, recognized as a margarita. So, but where do margaritas come from? So there's a lot of theories, and they all really, or most of them, focus to the period between 1936 and 1948. Now, the first one says that the margarita was created by a gentleman who opened up a bar in a hotel, and when his sister-in-law got married there, he created the drink as a gift to her. Her name, by the way, was Margarita. The next theory says that it was actually another bartender who also owned the restaurant in Tijuana, and he had a customer who was an actress and a showgirl. And this young lady, she had an allergy to all spirits except for tequila, as hard as that is to believe. And she couldn't stand the taste of tequila. So to make her happy, he decided to take the basic tequila shot and form a drink off of that. I don't know if that's true, but there are a couple other theories as well. Next one says that there was a gentleman who owned a bar, and he was just experimenting one day, and he crafted the margarita, and the German ambassador's daughter, whose name was Marguerite, happened to be there. She tried it, liked it, so he named it after her. Then there's another theory that a woman came into a different bar in Mexico and ordered a magnolia, which is a specific type of drink. The bartender had no clue how to make it, so he just improvised whatever he could to make a drink he thought maybe was like a magnolia, and voila, the margarita was born. And then the last sort of common theory is that there was a Dallas socialite who had a vacation home in Mexico, and in 1948 she supposedly had this big soiree, this big bash, where she was whipping up all these different cocktails, and she supposedly came up with the idea of a margarita. Served it to her guests, which included Mr. Hilton, of the Hilton Hotel chain, by the way, and then he added it to his menu shortly thereafter. So people think because he added it to the menu, that means that's the real story. Then there's another theory, which is maybe a little more rooted in mixology and drinks, and that is that the margarita, which, by the way, margarita means daisy in Spanish. People think that maybe the margarita is a form of a daisy cocktail. The daisy is a type of cocktail that was popular during Prohibition. The problem with this theory, though, is that really, while there is a type of daisy cocktail that the margarita could be based on, really a daisy is a whole class of different drinks. And the key with that class of drinks is really they're carbonated sour drinks. They have a base spirit and a couple other ingredients, and then at the end you add carbonation. So the fact that the margarita doesn't have any carbonation, it makes it hard to believe that maybe that is the true origin. Most likely, though, is that the margarita actually is a traditional, really old drink that developed in Mexico. And I think that probably is the truth because there was a UK travel guide that was published in 1924 that actually referred to the margarita as a drink that tourists should try while there. So if it was in a tourist guide in 1924, that's well before all these theories from 1936 to 1948. So chances are it was an old one. And then you add to that, Life magazine actually in the late 1960s ran an article that referenced the margarita or talked about margaritas and said that their origin is rooted back in 1916 to 1928. So my guess is probably it goes back before that, and given the simplicity of the drink, I'm going to guess that it was just a drink that developed in Mexico, maybe in different forms all throughout, wherever you were, but basically it was the same idea. And back then, by the way, margarita isn't what it is today. So as you're going to see in a few minutes, there's three key ingredients to margaritas. In the very early days, there were only two, tequila and lime, and that was it. So that's part of what makes me think that probably it was just a native drink that developed in Mexico and then got changed and adopted over time. So now, let's make a margarita, and I'm going to show you how I do a margarita the way I like it. So, as I said, margarita has three ingredients. First ingredient, key ingredient, is tequila. Now, make sure it's a good tequila. You do not want bottom shelf tequila at all. That will really ruin the drink. The whole thing with a margarita is it really is a drink to showcase the flavor of the tequila. And if you can't taste the tequila, or if you're tasting bad tequila, you're going to ruin the drink. So good tequila. Second ingredient is some sort of an orange liqueur. Now, you can use triple sec, you can use Cointreau, basically any orange liqueur you want, you can use. These are the two that are the most commonly used. And it doesn't really matter. You can also use Grand Marnier. And by the way, as a side note, if you make your margarita and then at the end you put a float of Grand Marnier on the top, you make it a Cadillac margarita. And then the last ingredient is, of course, lime. Now, one little note about the limes, I haven't covered this in any of the videos so far, but you know, if you're like me and like a lot of people, you get a whole bunch of limes and you don't want them to go bad fast. So you stick them in the refrigerator so they stay cool. That's great for the limes, makes them last. But the problem is, if you take them out of the refrigerator and use them straight off into the drink, you're not going to get the best flavor. You're also going to change the acidity a little bit of the lime. So really what you should do is take them out an hour to 2 hours at least beforehand. Just let them sit out so they warm up to room temperature, and then you can use them and you're going to get the best flavor and make them the best for your drink. So now let's go ahead and build this margarita. All right, so we got our tequila, and I'm using Altos, which is actually a pretty good tequila. We were able to get a couple of bottles of this stuff at a really good price, so we should snag it up. So we're going to do 4 parts or 4 ounces of that. And again, remember, for me, 1 part is 1 ounce generally, but I also describe it in parts because then you can up or down the alcohol as you like. All right, so then I'm using Cointreau. As I said, you can use any orange liqueur. I'm going to do 2 parts or 2 ounces of that. And then last, we're going to do half of a lime. Now these are the proportions that I use, but the reality is there's about 8 different accepted standard proportions to the ingredients. So really, as I said before, you can do whatever combination you want in terms of ratios, and it's still a margarita. It's what you like for taste. So we're going to add some ice to this. And by the way, one of the things here is, you know, when you go to a restaurant, sometimes they mix it, or they put it in a pitcher and then you pour it out in your glass, and you've got the ice that's been sitting there. That ends up diluting your margarita. So really what you want to do is have your ice in your glass that you're going to drink from, have your ice in your shaker or whatever you're going to use to mix it up with, and don't put that ice back in because it'll really dilute it. Now, margaritas, unlike a lot of the drinks we've done, you shake because we really want to get a good frothy texture, and we really want to mix out those ingredients and make sure they're really all intertwined well. And you shake it good. And by the way, when you shake drinks generally, you want to make sure that the metal part gets frosty. So that's how you know that it's mixed well. And as I'm mixing this also, you know, traditionally a lot of people will rim the glass on margaritas. And to do that, all you have to do is take a piece of lime, rub it around the edge of the rim, and then dip it in a thing of salt. That's it, nice and easy. But do make sure you do that before you pour the drink, otherwise you're gonna have a mess. All right, that's ready. And voila, our margarita. Enjoy, and by the way, don't think you have to use a margarita glass. A lot of the traditional recipes actually call for a double rocks glass. Personally, I like to use that glass. Whatever you like to have, drink it up and enjoy it. Cheers, see you next time.